Hey there, this is Calvo. Another edition of TrickTrades.com presents how to use trade ideas. It's a little bit like Dr. Sheldon Cooper presents Fun with Flags. This, but without the Amy Farrah Fowler. Oh, that's great, and my screen closed down. Oh God. Oh no. Oh, there we go. My driver stopped responding there, but we won't pause. We will push on. So yeah, in this episode, in this video, we're gonna look at using trade ideas to do some end of day scanning. So kind of going to assume that you don't have something like TC2000 and that you're not using FinViz, which is fine, although you can get FinViz for free if you just sign up. You can save your settings and stuff. Be sure to join TrickTrades.com, and there's some great videos from Pat on how to use FinViz free version. But for now, we're going to look at just getting some more use out of trade ideas for this. So that's why I've got my TEFs platform up on this one and not TC2000. Okay, so we're going to look at some end of day scans and putting that information into a watch list, which I've already got up here and here, and then using that to to take into the next day to try and find our place. Now this is kind of based on a day trading philosophy. I'm not a swing trader. There are swing trade scans and stuff in trade ideas, but to be perfectly honest, I don't have them. I haven't really thought about them. If you wanted something like that, there's plenty of information out there on the web, but for finding end of day scans for swing. Failing that, you could go into the chat room here, and I'm sure if you ask some of the guys in the Trade Ideas free chat room if they could point you in the right direction of some after hours swing scans, etc., you would certainly find some good information in there. But for the purpose of today, we're going to look at some sort of overextended and continuation scans to look for what we might trade tomorrow. Now I'm making this video on the morning after the Monday bloodbath. I was hoping to make it yesterday morning, but there was a problem with the TEFs platform. It was down for maintenance or something, so I wasn't able to make it yesterday. Problem with doing this today, if we're using yesterday's data, is we're not going to find all that much in the way of overextended charts. The market had a pretty major pullback yesterday, and majority of mid and large cap stocks went with it. So all the overextended charts are now going to be in correction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Friday's data for stocks of what I was hoping to do yesterday, and so what I would have been looking at yesterday morning, if that makes sense. Otherwise, we're going to struggle to find the charts. So, without further ado, I'm also going to use this video as a bit of a recap video for a few basic things that we've done, just to go over the obvious stuff as a nice reminder. So the first thing we need to do is link trade ideas to the platform. So we go to Tools, External Linking, add a link, hover over here, hit Shift, OK, and close. This will link everything. Everything will now link together because we've got everything's linked via color linking here, which is the same on most platforms. If it's not color linking, it's your platform, you'll know how to make sure everything's linked together. Anyway, let's make sure that that's working. There we go. quite a nasty day, as you can see. $100 down to 70, and that doesn't even include the after hours trading on that. If we have a look at the after hours trading on, oh, it's not for yesterday. Anyway, I know that dropped to about $16, $17 after hours, so quite a nasty day in the markets yesterday. Let's get rid of this top list because we don't need that right now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build a couple of new top lists, one for overbought stocks and one we're going to look at post-market gainers. Just something we can have a look at the next morning to see what was happening after hours yesterday. Okay, so first thing to do is to go to new, a new top list. Bring that in. Okay, you should know how to do this now. All nice and very simple. We're going to start from scratch as always. And we will go to window specific filters to get the basics, clear the current criteria or change it at least. So we're going to go $10 to let's say $100 today, and that way we don't get too much. Average daily volume, let's go for some liquidity and say 800,000 shares a day. You can again choose whatever you want, 200,000, a million, whatever, but 800,000 gives us some liquidity. We don't need change from the close. Doesn't really matter what the volume's been today, as long as we've got the average volume over 5 days, that's okay. Relative volume, not really interested. One thing that we do need for, in fact the only other thing we need for this one, we're keeping it very simple, is because we're looking for overextended charts, we're going to look at RSI, relative strength. Okay, we're going to look for something that's over 70 RSI on the daily chart, which anything over 70 RSI is classed as being overbought. And that's what we're looking for, overbought stocks that potentially providing a short play for tomorrow. That's the purpose of my top list for this. Again, you can change that to whatever you want. You might want to play oversold stocks. You might be looking for something that's beaten up to go long on. So in that instance, you would again choose the RSI, but you would go look for things on probably under 30 RSI, which would be classed as oversold. Sorry. So we're going to go to search, and we'll just go here and we'll go RSI, and we'll choose RSI daily, add the filter, and we want a minimum value of 70 RSI, and that tells us that we're only looking for overbought stocks. Very simple, all very easy. Okay, change the name. Overbought scan video version. Check that we've put in what we want, between 10 and 100, 800,000 shares daily over 5 days, and stocks where the RSI is at least 70. Okay, hit OK. Now what we're going to do today is this little arrow here, we're going to leave that. We're not going to get rid of it. We're going to leave it, and I'll tell you why in a little while. First thing we need to do is to check to see our results. So as I said, we're going to go to Friday, which was the 2nd of February. So we're going to go time frame, use historical date, select this here, Friday the 2nd of February, at 4 p.m. So that's showing us everything at the close of business on Friday. And that loads up, and there we go. Now, so what we need to do for this is so that we can sort by RSI, not necessarily by change from the close. What we're going to do is change a few columns. So we're going to right click, go into configure, select columns. We're going to take out relative volume. It really doesn't matter for this. We'll take out that so we're not taking up too much room. And I'm going to take out volume to day percent. Again, it's not something that we need for this, so we'll take that out. And what we do want is we do want to add into this RSI. So we go to search terms, RSI, RSI daily, show column, and there we've got RSI daily. Hit OK, OK, and you see RSI has now appeared in here. This is very important for this scan. I'm going to put it in here, and by clicking that, it will automatically show us stocks that had the highest RSI at 4 o'clock on Friday in descending order. So we start from 92 RSI and we go all the way down to 70 RSI, nothing below. Okay. So we've got our scan there. We've also got position in the range. So this tells us, also tells us where the stock closed as its position in the range. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to add one more column into here. I'm going to add into this position in the 5-day range, which I think I do have here. Yes. So I have here position in the 5-day range. Take that over. Okay. Now, so looking at this, instantly I know that SFLY trades at $74. On Friday, it had a change of 1.1% or 80 cents. It traded 2.8 million shares, so it's very liquid. Its RSI is 92. Its position in the 5-day range is at the very top, and it closed near to the high of day, reasonably close. So that's got to be a candidate. So let's have a look. So there you can see that red bar there. Obviously, it wouldn't have been there because that was yesterday's. Yesterday's price action. So on looking at this on Friday night or over the weekend or Monday morning before the market opened, we can tell that SFLY is massively overbought. Now, I haven't actually put RSI on here. I suppose I could do. If you just hang with me 1 second, I'll put RSI on the chart and then we can see. Actually, I've decided to leave it off the chart. Putting it on there. I don't use it on my normal daily chart, so I'm not going to for this. You can see how overextended it is just by looking at the daily chart. So it's obvious. It's coming into resistance here at 75. It's already failed at 75, as you can see there. The chances that this is going to reject and fail is is pretty, well, it's pretty high odds, given the fact the market came down anyway. That it was always going to happen, but obviously we didn't know that on Friday. So the first thing we want to do is add this to our watch list. It's the simple way of doing that in this instance anyway. So I'm just going to go to add to watch list, and we're going to put it to there. It should go in. No, maybe it doesn't. I don't use this very often, to be perfectly honest. No, oh well, for some reason that didn't work. Let's do it manually. S F L Y. So we've put that in our watch list on Friday, ready for Monday. So now we will go down to the next one, which is KS. Do we like it? No, it looks like a buyout or something. It's gone up big and then it's flat top, so we won't put that in. ABLX, similar. No, don't like that, so it's not going in. MSGN. Yep, certainly a little bit overextended there, coming up to the 27, so let's say we like that, so we're going to put MSGN in. Next one, do we like it? No, buyout by the looks of it. NKTR, yep, for sure. Big run up, big day, almost a 20 point day there. Failed miserably right on the 100, pulled back. So yeah, we'll have a look at that. NKTR. You get the idea. So we're going to go through the entire watch list and we're going to choose what we like best. No, because that's already failed at there, the 105. It obviously failed, so it's too late, we've missed that. DST, no. BOFI, maybe you like that, but it's already pulled back there. Maybe you thought, I don't know. Anyway, so we're just going to go through the watch list and look for the overextended charts. Definitely that one had a big day, failed there at 13ish. Might look for a pullback on that, so let's say we're going to put QNST in. QNST. And we're going to go through, you get the idea. We're going to form a watch list based on overbought stocks on the RSI. Okay, you can use this every time you look at one. You can use this to tell you what you need to know. I mean, that obviously closed, it's at the lower, it's overbought, but it had a bad day, and it's also at the low of its 5-day range, so it automatically tells us before we look at it that that's not in play because it's had 2 big days. Okay, so we've got that compiled, and now from this we've compiled our overbought watch list, ready for going through, marking up some charts and making some notes ready to go into the next trading day. All very nice and simple, and we know already from looking at these that they did indeed work. These did indeed work, but obviously they were helped by yesterday's market, so I guess that doesn't really count for anything. So what we need to do is we need to save this. In case, don't forget, every time you make a top list or a scan, we need to save it. So save or share to cloud. Save, and that is now saved. Saved with everything else. Now we're going to make another one, so we'll get rid of this and we'll go to new, a new top list, start from scratch, and we'll go to window specific filters. We're just going to make a little one to that will show some stuff that's moving after hours. Okay, so for this one we're going to go $10 to $100. Average daily volume 800 1,000 shares a day. And we want one more for this, which is a post market. So we should, if we type post, change post market in percent, add the filter, and let's say we want to see anything that is up by at least 3% post market and anything that is down by 3% after hours. So 3 for minimum, and for maximum, remember, if we want it to be a negative value, we put a minus in the front and then put our value in. So that will show us everything that's down at least 3%, everything that's up at least 3%, again, nothing in between. Hit OK. Give it a name. Post market action. Video version. Hit OK. Now, why don't we look at yesterday? I imagine there was quite a lot going on after hours yesterday, so we will use the time frame, historical date, and we will look at yesterday, Monday the 5th, at let's say 4:30 p.m. This is all that was going on after hours yesterday, and as you can see, it's mainly, in fact, it's pretty well all full of volatility indexes. There was some huge action after hours yesterday, and this shows us what it was. So let's go for the, let's see what was going up after hours. For this, we're going to go to the 1 minute chart, and we're going to go to yesterday. I'm going to choose the 5th. So we can see what was going on here after hours. You can also use, if you want to, you can use your trade ideas one for this. This is actually quite handy because it's got the post market shaded on this one, which is quite good, but it hasn't got indicators. But you can see from this shows us what was happening after hours, or you can use your own chart to see what was happening after hours. Here on the 1 minute, you can see after 4 o'clock. That's the action we got after 4 o'clock. Why don't we reduce these down for now? Sorry, let me just. There we go. We'll use the one we shaded on this, so it will show us what's going on pre and post market. So you can use this to, although in this it's probably not the best instance really because they're all volatility indexes, but this it's just good to show you what was going on after hours, especially during earnings season and that kind of thing. So if you know that things that you're watching have been reporting after hours earnings, you can look at this and you'll know instantly whether TVIX, let's imagine TVIX was a company reporting earnings last night. We know that it's reported good earnings, so coming into today's action, we know that TVIX is something worth keeping an eye on because it reported good earnings. So chances are it's going to have a good day tomorrow as investors start to soak up the news, and so on and so forth. We would go through this, and again, you can put these onto your watch list. All very easy, all very simple. We could make a new watch list for it very easily. In this case, I would go into trade, go into market watch, choose a new watch list. I would detach, bring it to here. Give it a name. And this would be called, let's say, after hours movers. Okay. After hours movers. Insert a row, so we can start typing in things that we're looking at. So TVIX, UVXY, and then we can look at this, and we can look at the biggest losers. So SVXY, let's imagine that was a company, it's reported earnings, and oh my god, the earnings have been terrible and it's dropped. So we're going to look at that tomorrow, either for a bounce play or for a continuation drop, again, as investors realize that earnings have missed really badly, that type of thing. So we're going to type this in, SVXY. So on and so forth. We've got another watch list there now going into tomorrow's open and pre-market, where we know what we're watching and why we're watching it, because we know it's after hours movers from yesterday. Then at the end of the day, we would delete all these from the watch list and do the go through the process again. And then you've got some nice watch lists just from Trade Ideas. You're paying for the subscription anyway. You might not want to pay for TC2000 on top. If you've got a decent platform with some decent charting, then no need for it. I suppose you know quite happy with what you've got. Let's keep the costs down. Let's get the best value for money we can from Trade Ideas. This is going to definitely give you some nice trading ideas going into tomorrow. Combine this with our pre-market top list. I think you've got everything you need going into the trading day. Okay. So don't forget, we've just made another top list. So first thing to do is to save the top list. Save to the cloud. All right. So no matter what happens now, the top list is saved. So what we need to do now is I'm going to show you how to get the most out of this one particular window for top lists without having 2, 3, 4 of them open. All right, I'm just going to grab a drink and then we'll go through that. Okay, so we've got our 2 little end of day scans made here. Okay, we've looked at some after hours movers. We've looked at making a little overbought watch list going into tomorrow. One other thing that I want to do is I want to look at using the position in the daily range column, so that we can just go over how to use that to look for continuation plays for tomorrow morning. Don't want to over confuse things, but again, it is quite a handy thing, and I am a great believer that the most valuable thing in Trade Ideas is actually a good top list. I think it trumps most scans every single time. It's the best thing you can do is to have a couple of really good top lists. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, we need to pull up our 2% gainers top list. In doing that, I want to show you one other thing, a good way of utilizing the space on your screen is to just have one of these open and to use this feature here to find all your top lists. In order to do that, we know we've already saved this top list. What we're going to do is we're going to close this down. Don't ask me why you have to do this. You just do. It's just one of those quirky little things. You have to close it down first. So what we do, we go back to new, click on new, click on top list. Now, if we go to here, recent settings, click the plus, and you will see here in recent settings all the things that we've made today. You see, we've made our post-market action video version. We've made our end of day overbought top list, their overbought scan video version. All the top lists that you make will appear in here. So the one that we want right now is we want our 2% gainers and losers. So double click on there, choose the last one, load settings, and then hit OK. All very nice and simple. Now there we have our 2% gainers top list. This is the one that we built in, I think, the first episode. Where we looked at top lists. So you will have it saved and it will be there for you. So it's already set on, let's have a look what date we've got here. So go to time frame, historical date. Okay, let's just go to, so let's go to yesterday, 4 p.m. That's it. Yeah, that's yesterday's action, as you can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this position in the range bar here. In fact, let's go to Friday, because this is just nonsense, all these indexes. So let's go to Friday, historical date, 4 p.m. on Friday. There we go. Let's get rid of this. Let's bring in our 1 minute chart. Let's go to Friday, which was the 2nd. Okay, this was Friday's action. We're going to use this position in the range bar. So first of all, let's look for things closing on Friday at high of day. So this was let's go to a 2 minute. All right, so you can see on Friday, market opened here, market closed there. This was Friday's price action for DXD. All right. I suppose we could also use. We could also check our daily chart on DXD, and that told us, although it's not an overbought stock, that told us on Friday that this here closed at high of day. Now, this gave us a really good play actually. Although my I said ultra shares short, so it was always going to, wasn't it? But it gives you an idea. So when something closes at high of day, this closed at high of day there on Friday. Okay, that was there. On Monday here, we got the continuation play. Now, although the market dictated that yesterday, but we got the continuation play. So SDS, what does this tell us about SDS? Oh, there's another ProShares Ultra. Not doing very well here. Let's find something that's a normal stock. Okay, considering the market yesterday, this didn't do too bad. So on Friday, it had a good day. It traded up. It closed at the high of day here. This was Friday's daily bar. daily candle yesterday. Well, put in a green day considering what the market did. It's going to be quite difficult finding things that actually did what we want to. Everything is volatility indexes. Not sure what is SHO, another pro shares, so EDZ, pro shares of some sort, absolutely going to be. We're actually not doing very well here, are we? It's all going to be volatility indexes. Anyway, this gives you an idea of what we're looking for. We're looking for, using this, we're looking for things. Where's that gone now? Sorry. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there. I lost a chart, completely disappeared. If anyone sees it, you just let me know if you find it somewhere. I don't know where it went to, absolutely bizarre. So yeah, so we're using the position in the range feature here to find stocks at closing at the high of day, reverse it, and we find stocks closing at the low of day. We're probably better off with this just because of the way the market's been. So Unilever, we can see that it's had, on a daily chart, it's had a couple of really bad days. Looking at that there, definitely I would have been watching that there for a continuation down. And yeah, although the market made sure that happened, we did indeed get a continuation down there. As you can see, it sold off through the day. PWR, sorry, this is really quirky this morning. Okay, yeah, just having a few PC's been a little bit, either that or the platform's a bit quirky this morning. So we can go down through this and look at PWR, closed at the low of day, had a bad day yesterday. All these closing at the low of day on Friday. CRUS closed at the low of day, massive gap down, bad day. It's a really good thing for finding continuation plays. There's nothing when it comes to follow through the next day. Something, if you're a short seller like me, then something closing at the low of day is a pretty strong sign that nobody's actually interested in propping the stock up. Nobody's interested in buying into it to keep it up. If it closes at low of day, there's a pretty good chance that tomorrow it might continue down. Whether it'll continue down all day or whether it will just drop and then find some support and bounce back up again is the more likely. But it's still a good thing to look at. Something closing at the low of day, you've got a good chance that you might get on a high price stock like a $40 or $100 stock. We've got a good chance of grabbing a point on it really. On the follow through tomorrow morning. So I certainly use the position in range thing. I'm going to be using it a lot more actually after giving myself this slap on the wrist reminder of how important it is. So definitely something I recommend that you do is just to use your top gainers and losers top list and use this position in the range. If you're a short seller, you go for obviously the red. If you're looking to go long specifically, you'll use your green. Depending on what the market's doing. If the market's really strong, you'll find lots of green and less red. If the market's weak, you'll find lots of red and a lot less green. Again, we can use that. So we're going to put all this information into our continuation watch list. So CRUS goes in there. UNVR is going to go in there. PWR is going in there. You get the idea. All these they're all continuation plays. So RSP is going in there. And to be honest, on a day like this, half the damn watch list would go in there, let's be honest. But that's not the reality of your normal everyday market conditions. Okay, you'll get 2 or 3 or 4 of them that will close at low of day normally on a normal market day. It's actually quite soul destroying when you look at yesterday, the amount of stocks that gap down and then just went down all day. But let's not look at hindsight. Okay, let's not be a hindsight trader, somebody who makes a lot of money in hindsight. We're dealing with real life, real situations. You're just not going to get them all. Some days you're going to sit there and it's all going to pass you by. You're going to wonder what the hell you did wrong and why it didn't work for you. But that's just part of trading, isn't it? So the best thing we can do is to use what we've got at hand, compile a couple of decent watch lists, and try and act on them, really. So that's kind of what I wanted to go over with that, really, of using your position in the range to find continuation, using the after hours thing to find what we might be looking at in the morning, and definitely using the overbought scan to look for things like possible shorts at resistance for tomorrow, for compiling a nice simple watch list. Said it before and I will say it again. If you want the best watch list, then you need to come join tricktrades.com, and I still can't say that very well. tt.com, and come and see Pat's watch list every day. They are killer watch lists. They do kick ass. It's definitely where you need to be. So the one other thing we're going to look at now is how to use this one window to find all of your lists. Now we've already closed it down, if you remember. Let's do it once more. So we're going to go into new. We're going to go into top list. We're going to go to recent settings, hit one of them, load the settings, hit OK, bring it down. Now when you click this here, go to recent settings, and here you will find all the top lists you have made. As long as you've saved them, close the window and open again, they will all be saved on here. So you can see today's ones we've just made: post-market video version and overbought video version. So if the overbought is a scan that we want, go along to the right and just click the last started, and that will give you that particular top list. Okay, what you need to understand with this is the columns that come up will only be the columns that you've inputted during the making of the top list. If there's something that you haven't included in here, it might affect the way that the window appears. And the way I'm going to show this to you is, I know this for a fact because it's been bugging me for about 2 days and I've just sussed it out this morning. So we're going to go to recent settings, and we're going to go to our gappers top list. Remember we made this in the first video on the top list. We're going to open this window for gappers. The one thing that's been annoying me for a couple of days when I've been planning this video and looking at how to do it has been why I'm not getting any colour here in these columns, and it's driven me quite mad, to be perfectly honest. And I've just sussed out this morning what it is, and it's a very small thing, a very easy thing, but it's something that you might not suss out yourself for a while. So the reason there's no colours here, what we're going to do is we're going to go into properties, and we're going to go into select colours. Now you can see we always use, for the sake of these, we've always been using the red to green, red being the negative and green being the positive. But if you look here on the right hand side, this here tells you what you're going to be filtering by, and we always filter by change from the close. But if you look here on the list, change from the close doesn't appear. We've got price, volume shares, position in range, gap percent, gap value, earnings date, average volume, but there is no change from the close, and that's why we're getting no colour in this top list. So what we need to do is go into configure, go into columns, and we need to add in change from the close, which is here. Add that in, hit OK, hit OK, and now we get our colour. That's because we added in the right column that the colour values are associated with. Very simple, but as I've said, it did take a little bit of thinking about as to why it wasn't happening. And one thing you'll find is if something's not working for you with a scan, you need to just take a little step back and inspect every single element of the scan, and then go back and look at the insides of it and try and put 2 and 2 together and come up with 4 as to why it's not doing it. Everything is actually very logical, but you just have to look at it with a logical mind. And let's be honest, we're not always logical. So what you want to do then is you want to arrange. We don't want positioning range for gappers because it doesn't really matter, so we can get rid of that. Arrange your columns as you want them: symbol, price, volume, gap percent, gap volume, average volume, there. Earnings date, always good to have earnings date in there, so that if something's gapping up, that will tell you if it's got earnings coming, and that will explain why it's gapping. So BMY earnings 0.25 tells us that it's reporting earnings today. Okay, it's reporting or reported earnings this morning. 6.75, it's 6 days away from earnings. It's all pretty self-explanatory. If it has a naught in front, it means earnings are coming up. If it has a minus, it means it's just had earnings. Okay, that type of thing. So we've got our columns, and that's it. So we've got our gappers there. So in the morning, you'll have your gappers up. Once the market opens, we will go from here. Let's save that, make our changes, save. Once the market opens, we're going to go to recent settings, and we're going to go to our 2% gainers and losers. There we go. Sort it how we want it. So symbol, price, change from the close, volume, so there we go, and position in the range. There we are. So this is what we will keep up during the day for our main watch list. Okay, and we will keep it by percentage. So for me, I'm looking to short, so I'm generally looking for things that are beaten up for my strategy, which is things that are down and retracing to the moving average 50. So this is how I have my watch list, and I go through the top losers every day. Once the market's closed, we're going to go to recent settings, and we're going to go to post-market action. That's exactly how we've set it up. Look, exactly how we want it, and that tells us that once we've looked at our post-market action and made some notes, we're going to go to recent settings. We're going to go to the end of day overbought top list. Remember to go to there, slide along to the right, hit the last one, and there is our overbought. Okay, now drag out, and remember we've got our RSI in there, and we've got our 5-day in there. Expand that out a little bit, and there we go. There is our RSI. Okay, remember this is yesterday, so make sure you've got it on live data for when you're using it during market hours, or else you're going to be making notes of yesterday's plays, which is no good at all. Okay, so there we go. Right, so that just gives you something. So one top list, and the entire everything we need can be kept inside one window. That way, again, it preserves real estate space on our screen. By the time we add in that and a couple of scans, we've already taken up the best part of half of our decent sized screen. So it's really important that we keep everything as small as possible. I hope that that bit of information there actually comes in quite useful for you. I've kind of forgotten about using this really till lately, but it is a really good thing. So it's definitely something I'll be using going forward as well. Okay, so that basically wraps up this this video. I think I've really gone through everything I really wanted to go through. Again, symbol linking. Just remember, every time you make a change to something, be sure to save it, or else it won't be there the next time you do it. We've built a couple of watch lists. We've looked at how to implement the watch lists from Trade Ideas, from doing a couple of nice easy scans. Don't forget, if you're looking for any more information that's not on these videos, you could hit up Trade Ideas themselves. You could go into the live trading chat room and speak to people in there, and they would point you in the right direction. Be sure to come and join us and find us at tricktrades.com. Lots of people in our chat room here use Trade Ideas. Lots of people have very, some really good scan ideas. A great community of people, and everybody does tend to help each other out. No one's kind of, well, this is mine and I'm keeping a hold of it type thing. We all share information. We all share scans if we want them. We all help each other out. So come join us. In the meantime, I hope you're getting on okay with Trade Ideas. If you're having any technical issues whatsoever, don't forget, hit up their tech support. There's a couple of really good guys on the tech support, and they will put you right on anything. If you're having issues linking Trade Ideas to your platform, just a little pointer: when you go into tools and external linking, if for some reason you're finding it's not writing the full symbols onto your charts, especially with something like TC2000, when you click on add link and you hit something, okay, if it's not linking to it, what you need to do, is oh god, how do we do that? Sorry, just 1 second, I'll just sort this out for you so it's right. Hang on. Right, sorry, yeah, so what you need to do if it's not linking properly is select your link, go into edit link and click on use alternative method. Okay, give that a go and see if it's linking. If it's still not linking, then go on to the support, Trade Ideas support, and they will hopefully put you right on it. I personally haven't yet come across a platform or charting platform that Trade Ideas won't communicate with and won't link to. Again, the guys at Trade Ideas do have a list of every platform out there, and they will tell you if they know of problems with certain platforms. I'm guessing if you're using the most common brokers, I think you'll find it's absolutely fine. Okay, so we've gone on a little bit longer than normal, but there was a lot to go through. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something from it. Don't forget, hit us up if you need anything. Until then, adios and happy trading.